precession of the equinoxes. But there was a period of time when the Milky Way aligned with the winter solstice. And so all of your older primitive cultures believe that the dead, like ghosts, wandered around the earth for all that time until the Milky Way aligned with the winter solstice, and then everything went up to the stars. Whereas in
kind of like tomorrow.
Yeah, so like tomorrow. Good lead-in. Excellent.
Yes, thank you.
So,
thank you.
So this is your teaser. This is your teaser because this is in an old sarcophagus in Hellenistic or Coptic Egypt, and this is the sarcophagus. And believe it or not, those are the signs of the zodiac down her body. And she starts first with the sun, with Cancer, and Leo. So you know about co-rulerships?
Mm-hmm.
But notice, because I'm not telling you the secret, that it divides with Cancer and then Leo. And then you go backwards. So you would have, at the very bottom, see you have the fishes, and you have, now that's set, the fishes, Pisces, and Sag, they're both ruled by Jupiter, right? And then we have the water bearer and Capricorn, there's Saturn. And we go above that, so we had Jupiter here, we had Scorpio. Taurus is on the other side. No, Scorpio and Aries.
Scorpio and
Here,
Aries.
Aries ruled by Mars. And then we have Libra. And we should have Taurus, the bull, ruled by Venus. And then have Mercury, which is Gemini and Virgo. So this is basically the signs of the zodiac came from the Babylons. And then when the Persians conquered Egypt, and I just went through all of this with Nick Campion and Bernadette Brady. And he had great maps, but I won't pull them out now in his slide presentations. But the Persian conquered Egypt during that time, and it's speculation. And that's when the signs of the zodiac went and married their star, because they were totally star-oriented, and the decans. So the star orientation, the decans, and the signs of the zodiac married together after the Persian conquest. And then the Greeks came in after that, which is Alexander the Great. And that's when the Greeks really started having, like Ptolemy, I think it was 15 or 20 years that he was a high priest with the Egyptian priests. But remember, he was a foreigner. They didn't tell all their secrets. Some of their secrets. We'll only be hinting at this tomorrow, because tomorrow we're going to, the course I had taught was 12 hours long, and we're going to go through the sacred geometry side, because most of you have never looked at how you get the foundation of all your numbers from 1 up to 12, and then what their significance mean. So you have a better appreciation that all of astrology is geometry, and that this is really a branch of mathematics applied to living life. So you don't have to be a mathematician, because we're going to show you the visual ways in which it was done, and why, and we'll take modern science to show you how these numbers relate to our current ability to measure, and then we'll go back and look at the ancient world and see how they viewed that, so that you have a greater appreciation of the big foundation, the huge, vast amount of knowledge that's underlying this subject that you love so much. It has so much more depth than what we get as general astrologers when we read our astrology books. And that this was the foundation science. You know, in the old world, the astrologers were the physicians, and they were the herbalists, and they were the astronomers. They were the fountain of all knowledge. It's the oldest of all the sciences. Of course, now it's been in ill repute and misrepresented constantly. Be proud of your interest, because it has a huge history. And we're only as astrologers now starting to have some sort of representation in the academic world, which is what Nick Campion's about. He wants to play on their field. There's been so much that's been misrepresented in the academic world that he is recreating new documentation with new orientation to be on the positive side rather than on the negative side. And they've been doing some great work, and there's a whole generation of academics that are pro-astrology and want to set the record straight. And they will give us greater knowledge in the process, which was being done when we retranslate those texts. You know, the Greek translations were poor, even the Latin was poor, because the translators didn't understand the astrology behind it. So we're in a great time period. I really think we even haven't come up to our zenith yet in what's going to happen. I have to think geometrically in order to understand that there's a message in the picture, just like all those old monuments and various things that they left behind. You have to have the eyes to see, to understand that they're telling you a story. There's so much on science. We've only been, what, true science for like 150 or 200 years? We're still at the very beginning of understanding the universe. We're not even close to it. We're in a very mechanistic, materialistic kind of understanding. Only now with physics are we beginning to realize that we can look at a particle two different ways, and one's a wave and the other is a particle, just by your perspective. But it's the same entity. And so to realize that we have these subtleties, and we are, what, 70% water? We respond to very subtle energies that we're not necessarily conscious of, but surround us all the time. You know, there's so much left for us to know beyond our generation. So I think these are all in the realms of possibility, very much. And, you know, I don't think we can talk about planets having gravitational pull, but when you have a harmonic alignment, I hope we see you tomorrow and give you a wider perspective of this deep